All right, my dudes, welcome back to another Movie Monday. So this week I'm pretty stoked because I went through so many garbage movies. And I'm telling you, like when you sit there and you wait about 5 minutes and you're like, man, like I can't do this. Anyways, I finally came down to two really good movies that I thought you folks should see because they threw me off guard completely. And they're newer. By newer, I mean like the 2000s. Both of them I found on TUBI TV. So I'll start with the first one that I was like, whoa, okay? Anonymous 616. This movie can be found on TUBI TV. It was made in 2018. And this movie threw me so off guard, okay? I forget what the synopsis said, but I wasn't ready for it at all. So you have this group of friends who hasn't seen each other in like 2 years. They get together, they have like a little dinner party, and stuff goes down, okay? So I had no idea the movie was gonna go this way, but his friend, so there's the main dude, I forget his name, I want to say Jason. Anyways, there's the main dude, his girlfriend, his best friend, and his wife, or soon-to-be wife, whatever you call those, esposas, or something. Anyways, I don't even know. Brain fart. Anyways, so you have them all sitting down. They're all chatting. And then one person brings up, of course, which is like his friend. He's like a sleazy salesman guy. And he's just like, hey, you guys ever done DMT? And I was like, what? Is this where the movie's going? It's going to be like a trip? Anyways, so they're all like, professional looking folks, and they're just like, yeah, you know what, like, let's try it. Like, two of them haven't done it before, which is Jason and his girlfriend, and the two others are like, man, it opened up my heart, blah blah blah. So oh man, this movie took a huge turn because, guys, again, I was watching so many damn horror movies that start off and it's a bunch of friends at a cabin and they're all like drama, and I'm like, I can't do this. And this was like, all right, you got me hooked. Let's see how they all trip out. Anyways, the focus is mainly on this Jason guy. He's an he's still in the war, like fighting the army in Iraq or whatever. Anyways, he's obviously home right now because he's with his friends. But yeah, so he takes the drug. They all take the drug. Everybody seems to come out of it okay. And him, it turns into this, like, he gets up, he walks around, he goes into like their computer room and he sits down and he starts typing to some person who's labeled anonymous. And the person that's labeled anonymous is like, I know everything about you. And he's just like, what do you mean? Like, he seems like this, I'm not going to say arrogant. Like, at the beginning, you're kind of like, okay, like, this guy's seen some shit. He's obviously a strong person. But then it's like, it takes this major twist, okay, guys? Like, huge. And you're just like, oh my God. And the level of uncomfortableness this film gave me, the acting was really good too. Like, the main dude, Jason, is freaking wicked. The rest of them also. Anyways, this shit down spirals so fast. And I can't even explain to you. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but it's one of these movies where literally, like, uncomfortableness, he starts hitting on like, the person whose house they're at or whatever, starts hitting on their, like, 12-year-old kid. And, like, in the way that you just want to slap this guy so hard. Like, they film it so well. And then, anyway, so his trip goes super bad, okay? He keeps typing to this person on the internet, doesn't know who they are. And then it turns into this whole, why don't you just, like, let go of your inhibitions and, like, do what you really feel like you want to do for the next 2 minutes. Yeah. So, like, he has this weird encounter with this 12-year-old girl. And then you're just like, ugh. And then this anonymous thing is pushing him to the next limit. And then it's like, do, like, say things you'd want to say to this person or whatever. Anyways, I kind of felt it from there. I'm like, this must be his subconscious and the way because, like, drugs aren't the same for everybody, right? Some people might take something and it could chemical imbalance them hardcore, right? So this movie was such a great depiction of what really can go wrong. Okay, it's like next level, but you're just like, holy crap. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, when he gets back to that living room and starts doing, we're talking bloodshed. We're talking tons of like rape of dead bodies. We're talking like, it's so messed up. And okay, so the ending, again, I'm not going to spoil it. The ending gets to a point where you're just like, all right. There's this gentleman who's standing there and he plays it so well. Again, amazing actors. And it kind of had that devil's advocate feel in the end, if you know what I mean. But man, you know, the entire concept was so good. Like, I highly commend these people who made this film because, like, legit, they did a pretty damn good job. Especially, like, it felt original to me. Like, I have not watched something that has slapped me in the face that hard in so long. So, yeah, you guys should really see it. It was messed up, though. Like, I'm warning you now. Not for the faint of heart. It was just whack. Yeah, and weird. Anyways. Movie number 2 that I enjoyed a lot for that culty kind of handheld thing. The Apocalypse Cult. It's just called Apocalypse Cult, okay? This one was from 2014. Again, on TUBI TV that I found it. This was done really well. So even though it's POV, like first person, it's shot very well where you do have like a bit of both going on, where like you do have like some cinematic shots. The handheld isn't all just like bleh, all over the place. It's actually like steady. So it's about this journalist and her cameraman that go and find this dude. And he's like, yeah, like I used to be part of like an end of the world type apocalypse cult. And they're like, oh, no way. Well, like, we'd love to maybe investigate that place. And he's like, not a good idea. And they're like, well, yeah, like we think it's interesting, you know? Anyway, so they go. So creepy. Okay, the leader, this guy, Michael, super weird looking face. Guy's like textured and like it irks creepiness, okay? The whole cult, very midsummer-ish, you know what I mean? Like in those long old dresses and bonnets, and they obviously haven't been in like society for a while. And they're being very polite as they, you know, as polite as they can be as journalists going in there. And stuff starts to spiral out of control very quickly. So the main thing they wanted to know was, what is your view of like the prophecy? What is this thing, you know? And they're like, well, number one, it starts with something like the men leaving. So as soon as they get to this cult, there's no more dudes. None. Nowhere. So it's all women and this one guy, Michael, the leader. And then the second part of the prophecy is the girls screaming. The girl screams. All right. So you're like, I don't even know what that is. And number 3, it's supposed to be all like the women letting go, basically. So it has that fine line, kind of like in Midsummer, right? Where you're in a situation, you're documenting it. Do you step in? Almost like Cannibal Holocaust too. Like, do you mess with the cannibals or do you just like let them do their thing, right? This is their little society. So there's that whole dynamic between the cameraman and the journalist girl that are like, different things irk them. Like there's one like super young girl, maybe she's like 8, and you just see the guy Michael picks off people like to take them to bed at night, and you can see it in her face right away, like, oh, you know. And I think that was her drive to kind of get out of there or whatever. And like, it was so well done. And the ending, guys, I was so happy because that kind of ending doesn't happen in a lot of these films. So I'm not going to say anything about the ending, but it's super good. I like the way socially they really brought things in. Like whenever there was conflict or something messed up going on, there was a way that they dealt with it, and they just portrayed it super damn well. And it was so eerie. Like I was watching this. Normally I watch my horror movies during the day and like in the morning, because at night I get sleepy. But like I was watching this in the evening and I was just like, you know that moment where you're watching like a, how do you say, just an eerie handheld film, like whether like violence, you know what I mean? I'm not talking snuff, but to an extent, you know what I mean? When you're watching the news and stuff, this made me feel that feeling where you're like, should I be watching this? Should I be watching this? You know, I had those moments where I was like, this is off. Anyways, it was so good. It wasn't Midsummer good, guys, but it was so good for what it was, for a movie that I've never heard of. Same with Anonymous 616. Please check them both out. Let me know what you guys thought. And yeah, have a wicked rest of your Monday. And thank you guys again so much for throwing down all your little recommendations, because I will be watching a bunch again this week and covering them on Thursday again. So yeah, that's been keeping me going. I've been like painting up all these dudes and watching weird movies. It's been pretty fantastic. And yeah, if you're not subscribed yet, do it. And if you are, awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, have a good one. Okay, bye.